The past two times that I've been sharing for BBC, I've been reviewing some of the teachings that Venerable Children has given over the years on how to be with people, loved ones, and a number of these points actually are in regards to our pets too that are dying or who have died, and also trying to understand what grief is and actually how to work with grief to help us transform our minds, and also to use it as a wonderful gift rather than something that throws us into personal distress that we can't ever find ourselves away from and out of. So today I wanted to just go over a few of the points that I did the other day on supporting our friends and loved ones as they are going through the process of dying, and then from the Buddhist perspective, some of the things that we usually encourage people to think about after they've died. And a lot of this is not just about supporting our loved ones, but it's also helping us to deepen our practice, because sooner or later we're going to be in the same relationship to death as they are. And so this is a wonderful gift that they're giving us to also think about our own relationship to death and how we can work with our minds so at the time of the death we're not freaking out and in such a state of distress that we can't use it as a practice at the very end. So some of the things that were said quite frequently during this teaching is that Venerable said that it was very, very important that we let go of our agenda, to really trust their process, and to so not impose and impute any of the things that we think they should be doing, or our level of pain and suffering to just start becoming more of a difficulty for them rather than a support. We have to be sensitive and be realistic that we may not be there when our loved ones die, and there have been enough stories of some of our friends and people who have been with people who have died that they actually wait until all the friends in the family leave the room to go to the bathroom and go have a cup of tea, and they quietly pass on in their own way. So we have to not, stay every minute of every moment, because they may be waiting for us to go so they can go. Also, if there's any way, if the person is in the hospital, and you speak to the people there at the hospital and they're okay about when the person dies, is to be able to just have them be there very quiet and still and not be moving the body around. For people who practice the Dharma, we usually encourage them, because it's very important that the body stays quiet and doesn't get touched, is to make plans to have the person die at home so that they can die in their own space and then be able to be left quietly alone for some time rather than to have the body jarred and moved, because the mind stream is gently leaving the body and we want to give it a peaceful, environment to exit rather than having all of this commotion and such. Also, there's going to be a point where our friends are going to say, I'm done. The quality of my life has changed and I'm ready to let go. And so to be careful that we don't force our loved ones, due to some attachment that we have, to continue their treatment when in fact they're pretty clear that the process is over and that they want to turn their attention to the actual process of leaving the world. And then after they die, is to make sure that we keep the environment as quiet as possible. If they are Buddhist practitioners, there's a lot of wonderful prayers that we can say during the dying process and afterwards. And as I had said a few days ago, that there are these directives and wishes that we need to encourage our friends also to have. So as they're going through this process, which are their favorite prayers, which are their favorite practices or deity practices that they feel very connected to, that we can support them and remind them as they're going through the dying process, and then afterwards to continue with some of these prayers. So there are a number of those. As far as the King of Prayers, the three principal aspects of the path, expressing and reminding them to meet qualified Mahayana teachers, to meet His Holiness the Dalai Lama or their particular root teacher that they had, and after they've died, to actually continue to speak to them to tell them that it's okay and to wish them well and to rejoice in all the goodness that they cultivated in this life, because we really have no idea where that subtle mind stream is, and so we want to just support it in whatever way as it goes through the bardo and goes into its next rebirth, that we're actually giving it a lot of wonderful positive energy and prayers and encouragement. So quiet, leaving the body still and trying to let it stay like that for as long as possible. And then, let's see. Yeah, see them off with all good wishes and express to them out loud how you feel. And once again, to do it from a place of love and not from a place of attachment. Even after they're dead, you don't want to be sobbing and moaning and groaning in the room. You want to be just really with them in a clear, compassionate, loving way. And so I think that, at least I put this in a perspective that if, as time goes on and I'm able to experience and have the gift of being with people and with animals that are dying, that I'm creating the causes and conditions to habituate my mind, so at the time of death, I will know what I need, I will know what to request, and I will know the kind of state of mind that I very much would like to have at the time of death. And to create the causes and conditions, do the rehearsal now with the gift of being with others, so at the time of our death we can have a really amazing, powerful experience that will propel us into another precious rebirth where we will meet our teacher again, Mahayana qualified teachers, and His Holiness. So we can give that support now and then receive the support in the future.